Weyerhaeuser Timber Sale, Representative Gunderson.
Thank you, Chairman Keene and EQC members. For the record, my name is Representative Steve Gunderson, House District 1, Greater Libby, Greater Troy, and Bull River Valley. And this is basically just a briefing on the recent Weyerhaeuser sale. What we know. Weyerhaeuser has announced the sale of some 630,000 acres of their private industrial timberland in western Montana. The private industrial lands in question are not in one contiguous piece, but they are interspersed with other ownerships, both public and private, throughout a 6-county area: Lincoln, Flathead, Sanders, Lake, Missoula, and Mineral. Those lands have been owned by various entities since the late 1800s, and through the different ownerships, forest management regimes have yielded a long-standing and defining relationship with the culture of the area. Important cultural ties to the landscape include recreational access, conservation efforts to protect the working forest, and timber flow that has supported jobs in both harvesting and processing of the forest products. These are private lands, and Weyerhaeuser has the right to sell the acreage in question. Weyerhaeuser should also be aware of the social responsibility concerning these lands and their ties to the local communities. The announced purchaser, Southern Pines Plantation, is a privately held investment company from Georgia. Since their formation in 1984, their business model, as illuminated by their website, has included negotiated purchases of large tracts of land that are then sold to new buyers. Southern Pine does not seem to have an internal infrastructure that would allow them to take on the long-term ownership with implementation of a forest management regime that would be reflective of the management of these lands for over a century. Such an infrastructure would not be needed given their business model of flipping the properties they purchase. Both Weyerhaeuser and Southern Pines Plantation have told the media of western Montana that the management of the lands in question would not change with the sale. They stated that recreational access would be maintained and more than 500 jobs tied to the flow of timber from those lands would not be in jeopardy. The purchase and disposition in 124 days of 170,000 acres of potlatch lands in Idaho created an ongoing fight over access in the area. What we do not know if Southern Pines Plantation plans to own or manage the lands in a move that would seem to defy their 35-year history. If Southern Pines Plantation does not plan to keep the lands, who is the next purchaser or purchasers? If Southern Pine is not going to keep the lands, what are the management plans for the second buyer or buyers, and what assurances can we be given that the claims of no impact made in the media can be believed? How will this sale impact current management efforts and agreements, including but not limited to the following: cost share agreements on the road systems that provide important recreational access, management access for other ownerships, both public and private, best management practice management for watersheds and firefighting access, habitat conservation agreements concerning species of interest such as the grizzly bear, bull trout, and Canadian lynx. What impact will this sale have on the cumulative effects analysis undertaken concerning proposed projects on public lands within the landscapes that hold these interspersed and changing ownerships? What we need. We would like to be able to have a discussion with Weyerhaeuser, Southern Pines Plantation, or the ultimate proposed owners. These discussions could be between county commissioners, the governor, or legislators. Our doors are open, our phone lines are open, and we're ready to discuss the many impacts this sale could have on all of Montana. Open dialogue may give us answers to some of the questions we have and may also assist us in assuring that management of the lands works for the families, communities, and forest landscapes of Montana. We would also like to discuss whether or not there is a possibility of constructing a Montana-built purchase option for these lands. Such an option may include public-private partnerships that could assure the public that the lands will be managed for the long-term health and the social and environmental systems that provide the foundation of our culture. And just a side note, this is a sale of private property. But the sale is much, much more than selling that little blue house on the corner. Mr. Chair?
Thank you. Senator Lang and Representative Gunderson wanted that because it could have a great big impact on the community, so they asked to have that put on the agenda, and I'm happy with that because many times these sales do have a big impact, and I think we all have to be aware how they're going forward. So is there any public comment on that? Public comment?
Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, my name is Marcus Strange, M-A-R-C-U-S, S-T-R-A-N-G-E, and I'm here representing the Montana Wildlife Federation and our members. I'd like to point out that there's currently an easement in the works that would guarantee public access in perpetuity and would keep these timberlands in production. And we look forward to working with the new landowner in maintaining and creating future options for public access. And we would ask simply that this committee encourage local collaboration with the new owners to maintain public access on the ground and look for new opportunities. Thank you.
Man, thank you. We're into collaboration today, I'm telling you that. Any other public comment? Any other public comment? And we're going to move this forward to the agenda for next time to see how the sales worked out, and we'd be glad to have you back to see how your agreements are worked out, and hopefully they'll be contacting Representative Gunderson and the commissioners in the areas this issue moves forward. And so with that, it's time for a break.
I would like to